Hey guys, how are you doing tonight? It's Friday night and I think we're going to be doing these and try to, I don't know what looks best. I'm just going to leave it like that. We're going to start having these Friday night chats, I believe, because I find that I'm not too exhausted and I know I get to sleep late in the morning, yada yada yada. There you go. So I want to talk to you about plants, plant medicine being illegal or addictive. So, I get a lot of messages, comments in the thread about why don't I use CBD oil? Why don't I use marijuana? I've now had a suggestion to use opium, grow my own poppies. There have been people that have suggested kratom. You know, I'm not going to disagree with the fact that there is scientific proof out there that those plants are highly beneficial. Medicinally, there are components to it. But out of those that I listed, now I do not believe that marijuana is addictive at all. And it's never actually been conclusively proven that it is. It is a medicinal plant. The thing is it's illegal. And all the reasons it's illegal have to do with government control and taxation and buyouts from giant corporations that started in the 20s. So marijuana should not be illegal, but it is. It still is in Tennessee. Now, there's also the thing that I'm highly allergic to it and I break out in hives. So I'm not going to use the plant medicinally. It's illegal and I'm allergic to it. Highly allergic to it. So that puts it in the place where, okay, why are people choosing it? It's a relaxant. It is medicinal. It has pain relief to it. And yet it's illegal. So my choice comes to a legal substance or an illegal substance. A legal substance that the scientific evidence is proven that it's a miracle plant. And I'm talking about the wild lettuce. So many times I found that the people that are not accepting of alternatives are because they're comfortable with marijuana, and there's no reason they shouldn't be. But it jeopardizes their employment, their money, and many other things that go hand in hand with those two things. You test positive for marijuana in a pop test at work, guess what? You're getting fired. The best case scenario is they put you out on FMLA for a drug rehabilitation program, which you shouldn't be. I'm not going to argue that. Marijuana is absolutely harmless and it is highly beneficial. It's still illegal. Bad as that is, but it is. So we've discussed marijuana. Now the hemp is becoming legal. Now let me explain something to you. You know how with the wild lettuce I've explained that, sorry about that, that I've explained that the Lactuca sativa and all the wild Lactucas are the same plant family, but one no longer has the medicinal benefits that the other has. So they are In fact, in the same family, but they are different species, different varieties, should I say, and they perform differently in the body. So, hemp has less THC, and in places now where marijuana is legal and it is legal to grow, people are really working with the plant to enhance the THC levels and other cannabinoids in the plant. So it is in fact different from the hemp plant. So hemp is now legal in Tennessee, but it's not in Alabama. So there are still places where hemp is illegal, simply because it's in the same plant family as marijuana. Okay, we've discussed that. The fact that it's not farmed much in America now, all of those hemp seed and hemp oil that you buy in the grocery store now fairly reasonably, those all come from Canada and other places. That's something I learned at the hemp conference. Almost everything you can buy commercially now that has to do with hemp comes from Canada. And America should be able to produce it, and to produce it big. Fields of it. Sky-high fields of it. Fields as far as the eye can see. We should be able to produce it. And we're getting there. But it's going in slow, tiny steps. But now that it's going to go faster. So, the marijuana family. Now let's discuss kratom. K-R-A-T-O-M. Now that's an import. It has come into our country via immigrants. And it works for pain and for many other things. But it's illegal in most states, and it's coming to all states. You know why? It's addictive. It's highly addictive. And when people here in America started using it, and there weren't any laws on books to prohibit that, there really wasn't a lot known about its level of being addictive. But I get messages coming and going, it's addictive. And now people who have been using it for medicinal relief cannot break themselves from using it. So that is a financial burden on them. And if it does become illegal in all states, then that's going to put their jobs in jeopardy, their livelihoods, their family life. If they are so addicted that in the way addictions go, it changes them. So that's why I don't use kratom. I read about it years ago. Wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. I appreciate people trying to be helpful, but it's not helpful to want somebody to be addicted. Now, you may be a person that doesn't get addicted to it. I'm not taking that chance. Now, the next thing I'm going to discuss is something called khat, or maybe khat. K-H-A-T. Now, it's illegal to even import a handful of seeds into this country. The reason why? It is an amphetamine, a naturally occurring amphetamine. It acts in the same way that Adderall does, and people in foreign countries use it like that. They become clearer thinking, their metabolism rate speeds up, they're more alert, their ability to retain what they're learning stays with them. Weight loss as well. So it is also addictive. I've seen a few exposés on the native country that it is grown in, and once people reach a certain level of saturation, they can't break themselves of wanting to have that continual high and buzz, because it does speed you up. It is It is an amphetamine. So it's illegal. It's not going to get imported. And you're going to jail if you do it. So I've touched on that. Now, psilocybin, which is hallucinogenic mushrooms, which peyote is one of those in that family. One of the reasons that I did buy land in Arizona is because using peyote in small amounts in Arizona is legal. And I had read about the wonderful treatment and breakthroughs that were happening with neurodegenerative diseases, especially Parkinson's, by taking just a little peyote. Peyote is not necessarily addictive either. It creates this is just simplified words, this isn't technical. It creates a magical experience for you. But then you don't want it anymore for a while. I know of people that are what's called macrodosing with it, and they just take small little slivers, and it has a mood stabilizing effect. It's nothing else. No hallucinations, no light sensitivity, none of that. But it is mood stabilizing. So for people that are bipolar, schizophrenic, chronically depressed, there's miracles in that. So peyote and other psilocybins have great medicinal value, and they are becoming legal state by state, and eventually will. It's just that simple. It will, because most of them are not addictive. Once you utilize it once or twice, you no longer have a craving for it. You don't even want it. And then later down the road, you may want it. So there's your hallucinogenic mushrooms. Now, opium. And I saved this one for last because there's going to be a lot of discussion on this. I really get irritated at the videos that I see that say that wild lettuce is lettuce opium, and that it is an opiate, and that it acts like heroin, and it acts like opium, and it doesn't. None of the above. It is not an opiate. It doesn't have any opiates in it. It doesn't even slightly act like opium at all. You have to cook it down a great bit and use it like a heroin resin to get any of these kind of psychedelic effects that people really are searching for. A lot of people want to use wild lettuce because they think it's a type of opium and they just want to get high. It's that simple. They just want to get high, they want to escape, they want to trip, and that's it. So that upsets me when I hear it being called lettuce opium, because it's not. Now, opium in and of itself comes from a type of flower that originates in the East, like Asia, and it has a lot of, let's say, good medicinal effects. That's what laudanum was made out of, and there have always been medicinal uses for it in the war fields and in surgeries. And what they found when it was decocted and made readily available over the counter, and people who smoked it, and that's why we have the phrase opium dens, it's highly addictive, extremely highly addictive. And the chemical opiates that are made now have proven that it is in that molecular structure. We have an opioid epidemic in America because doctors won't approve any other kind of pain relief, and people are tired of being in pain. And that's shame on them. They'll answer for that someday. But opium comes from the opium poppy. It is one kind of opium poppy. There are several different varieties of poppies, but it is only one of the plants can produce the opiates in enough supply that you could, the way we're making tinctures and decoctions and leaves for tea and that kind of thing, you would have to have a minimum of 1 acre of poppies, of these opium poppies, to be able to utilize it, cooking it down, turning it into powder, drying it, crushing the leaves, that whole process. It would be very labor intensive, and you'd have to have a whole field. And guess what? It is freaking illegal. It's illegal. You can't have poppies in America. There are some states where there are ordinances, laws on the book that state that you can have no more than 2 or 3 ornamental poppies in your yard. Even when you go to botanical gardens, if they have any, they've had to get special licensing to have any more than 2 or 3, because there was at one time in America people did try to farm poppies, and that was when they were making the laudanum, and that is when the opium crisis originally started in America, and that was post-Civil War. So, first of all, you can't get it from just a few poppies growing in your yard. There's not enough to utilize. Then there is the thing that it is illegal. First of all, it's an illegal import, and then it is illegal to extract it. Even if you were allowed to grow 2 or 3 poppy flowers, it is illegal to extract the opium from the plant. And I'm going to give you Tennessee State Annotated Code 39-17-402 to look that up if you want to. If you want to Google it, the legality of opium poppies in America. It's fascinating reading. Now let's go to the other thing. It's addictive. It is addictive. So all of these things that I just listed, for pain relief, for help with sleeping, for alertness, for feeling of well-being, do I want to choose these illegal things, or do I want to choose something that does the same thing legally? That's only a question you can answer for yourself. But I have said in many videos that my employment is as an officer, and I'm going to leave that very vague right there. I'm an officer. If I violate the law, I can have my license removed, and that's even a traffic ticket. If I got a traffic ticket, I have to report it to the state, and it has to be investigated, and I can be suspended from my job until it's completely investigated. Now that's what happens to me. If y'all wanted to do any of those other things that are illegal and addictive, can you imagine what the repercussions would be in your life? So, wild lettuce or illegal addictive plants, right there for your consideration. But I'd been tiptoeing around it ever since my first video. I made a face. If you go in and look at the video, I said some people use this for, made a face, other things, because people do try to use this plant as a hallucinogenic and a way of escape. So, now that I've discussed that, put it all out there on the table, no, I don't use illegal substances. Yes, I use legal substances. I believe in plant medicine, and I have seen what the wild lettuce, what mullein, what now the passion vines, the mimosa blooms, the clover, all the things that I have shown y'all. I've seen what it does. So all of those things that are healing, antibiotic, antiviral, antifungal, antioxidant, all kinds of things, and then they're nutritionally powerhouses. You just eat them. You can just eat them. Most of them, you can just eat them. Pick a leaf, put it in your mouth, chew it up, and swallow it down. You can eat it. It's safe. Not pokeweed, we've already discussed that. But that is where I want y'all to be able to have that freedom in your healing, in your health, in your vibrancy, in regaining control of your life, and being able to no longer be chained and shackled by health issues. I sure don't want y'all to be chained and shackled by an addiction or by something being illegal and jeopardizing you. So, I finally touched on it. I finally went there. So, take all that as I want y'all to take everything that I tell you. Just listen to me. Weigh it in your heart. Research it. Google it. Pray about it. And then make a decision. I know a lot of people have difficulty making decisions. I've never been like that. I'm one of those people that jumps right in the middle of the fire and figures it out after I get there. Yeah, sometimes that doesn't work out. But almost every time in my life, I think about something, I pray about something, I go, God, let's do this. And then I just do it. That's how I vote, as a matter of fact. I research everything. But when I walk in there, I go, God, lead me to what you want me to do. It's never failed me. So, there's some things I wanted to address and for y'all to consider. And again, I pray for all of y'all and for your pain and your discomfort and your addictions and any kind of conflicts you have in your life. I know not everybody's Christian, and people that call themselves Christian aren't always faithful. That's the word we use at my church, faithful. But God knows your heart, and He's always there to guide you. And my battery's almost dead, and I've had this thing plugged up all day. So, until my next video, God bless you all, and goodbye.